How many farmers we got out there? You remember the farm crisis of the 1980s? You know, that was the one right after the farm crisis of the 1970s, preceding, of course, the farm crisis of the 1990s, which preceded the farm crisis of the 2000s, which preceded the farm crisis of the 20-teens, which preceded the farm crisis of the 2020s, which we're into right now. Well, there was an old farmer named Joe back in those days who was trying to deal with the hard times that come out of that farm crisis of the 1980s. Now, Joe had a special good friend. His name was Leon. Leon just happened to be the banker, and together they'd worked through several farm crises and were good friends and had made some money along the way. So, as he always did in late winter, Joe headed down to the bank to get some money. He needed money to buy his seed crop, his seed grain that he was going to put into the ground to grow his corn for the next summer. He'd done this every year for decades, and so he showed up into the bank, and as he came in, Leon kind of ducked his head. Now, this was the only bank in town, so he knew he was the only one he was going to be able to go to, and kind of ducked his head and looked like he had paperwork to do. But old Joe walked right up to him. He says, "Leon, I'm here to borrow some money." And Leon looked at him and says, "Oh, what do you need money for, Joe?" He says, "Well, what do you know I need money for? I need money to plant my crops so we can have a harvest next summer." He says, "Oh, well, yeah. Well, I don't know if I can lend you any money this year." "What do you mean you can't lend me any money? You don't lend me any money, I'll lose my farm." "Well, Joe," says Leon, he says, "what have you got for collateral?" Joe says, "Well, what do you mean, what have I got for collateral? I've got what I've always got for collateral. I got my farm." "Oh, Joe," says Leon, he said, "that farm ain't worth what it would take me to buy the paper to write up the contract on. Haven't you got anything else?" Well, Joe looks a bit concerned. He goes, "Well, I got my dog." "Your dog? What do you mean your dog?" "Oh, no, Leon, he's the best hunting dog in the world. He's the world's best hunting dog." "Well, Joe, you're going to have to prove that one to me." "Okay, I will." He says, "Tomorrow let's meet out at the duck club. I'll prove to you this dog's he's worth a farm. You just come on down and see." So sure enough, next morning they both meet there at the duck club, and Joe's got his dog with him. And this was the problem with this duck club is the lodge sit up in the middle, up on a little rise, and out at the 4 points of the compass there were 4 ponds. And the trouble was, being a hunter, knowing which pond had the most ducks, so you didn't scare off the profits, so to speak. Get it? Profits, most ducks, get it? Anyway, so Joe says to the dog as he's stroking his ears and petting his back of his head, he says, "Dog, go out to the west pond." That dog took off running just as fast as a dog could run. That pond's a mile away, but he's back in 15 minutes, and as he approached, he barked 5 times. Joe says, "Okay, Leon, there's 5 ducks out on that pond." He says, Leon does, "You're going to have to prove that one to me." He says, "Come on with me." So they headed out. Of course, they knew how to sneak up on the duck pond. They got down in the rushes, no carrying guns, so it was easy. This time they slipped up through there and peeked out on the pond. Sure enough, 5 little ducks swimming round and round. Oh my lands. So they went back a few paces, and he strokes his dog. He says, "Okay." He says, "I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll send him over to the east pond, see what he can find out there." So he says, "Dog, go to the east pond." Off he goes. They see him go up over the rise, down into the swamps beyond. Wasn't much longer. Over he comes again, back on, running right up to him, gets right up, and he barks 3 times. Joe says to Leon, "Okay, Leon, there's 3 ducks out on that pond. You want to go see them?" He goes, No, Joe, I'll take your word for it. You got the money. Just give me the dog." He strokes his ears. They headed back. Well, the spring came, the corn went in, the summer passed, the harvest was bounteous, and Joe harvested it, and he puts his corn in the silo, in the grain elevator. You know why they call them grain elevators, don't you? you put your crops in there and then you wait till the price elevates. Yeah, that's right. So Joe kept his grain in that elevator as long as he could, but come early November, he just couldn't wait anymore. He had to go duck hunting. So he sold his whole crop. Pretty good profit, too. Took the cash money in his hands to pay off his debt and headed down there for the bank. Came in the front door, and Leon is heading out the back. He says, "Hey, Leon, wait for me. I brought my money." Leon comes up and says, "Your money?" He says, "Yeah, I need my dog back." He goes, "Oh, Joe, I don't know how to tell you this." He says, "You don't know how to tell me what?" He says, "I don't know how to tell you, but I had to shoot your dog." "What? No, don't get mad." He says, "You'll understand because that dog went mad." He said, "What?" He says, "Let me tell you." He says, "You know the new bank president we got here?" "Well, yeah, I heard of him." "Well, I wanted to take him out duck hunting. I wanted him to show our investments. So I took that beautiful dog of yours out there to the duck club. That was my job. That's what I wanted to do." We got up there and I said to him, "Dog, go to the West Pond." That dog took off running. He came back lickety-split. And he was running up to us, and then that's when it hit him. He started shaking. He started snapping with his jaws. There was a stick laying right there on the ground. Thank goodness there was a stick, or he'd have got ashore. He snagged a hold of that stick, and he's just shaking it. He's shaking it. He's whacking me in the shins. He's whacking the bank president in the shins. He's mad. I had to shoot him. Tears welled up in Joe's eyes. He says, Oh, Leon. Don't you know what that old dog was trying to tell you? There were more ducks out on that pond than you could shake a stick at." No, this is true.